Hey everybody, welcome to Turning Pages with Paul and Lesley. I'm Lesley.
And I'm Paul. Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Hey, we're so happy to be back with you another week. Oh my gosh, last week was so fun, Paul. And we're just so grateful to our community of page turners. Thank you all so much for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, for hitting the like button, for sharing, for all of that. We appreciate you so much. We're up, I think, over 520 subscribers. And for that, we can only say thank you.
Yeah, we're getting close to 530 subscribers.
Oh,
We're
wow.
very, very grateful. You know, we're on the road to 600, and we understand that we can't make it without you guys. So we're asking you to please do everything Leslie just asked you to do. Make sure you share us with family and friends, especially, I mean, if you're enjoying it, you're having fun with it,
Yeah.
I'm sure that they will too. So, babe, we've got something really cool planned for today, some
Yes, we
great
do.
content.
Yes, we
Can you tell
do.
everybody about what it is we plan on
I'll be
doing today?
glad to. So, everybody out there, today we're talking about books that we definitely would read again.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
books we would go back to again because not every book, like, books are great. They can have 5 stars in my mind, but, not every 5 star book I'm wanting to go back to. Not every 3 star book I'm wanting to go back to. They're just certain books. They could be rated a 3, they could be rated a 5. I just want to go back and read them.
I think, sometimes there are books that just hit different.
They do.
You read it and you're done with it. You can't believe it's over, or you keep thinking about it and you read other
Yes,
books and those other books remind you of that book.
that's right.
And so I've got three in a bonus because I
Okay.
couldn't decide between two of the books that I chose. How many do you have?
I have three.
Okay,
I
all
have
right,
three.
all
I
right.
could have, I like you. I could have chosen more as I look around, but they're just a few. I'm telling you, probably maybe 10 books that I would read again, and I
Hmm.
chose the top three that I
Okay.
know that I probably might read one or two of them again this year.
Wow, wow. I don't
Yeah.
think I have 10 that I would read twice, but and I have at least five that I would read twice.
Okay,
And
that's
these
pretty
these
good.
four out of five are well. I'm not sure about two of them. Okay, but anyway,
Okay. Okay.
I'm still going to introduce them because they both kind of, help hit me
Yeah.
in a certain way. So, babe, as always, why don't you go ahead and go first?
So, this one I chose, I had no doubt that in fact, I had no doubt I was going to pull these three, period. Like I said, this one, and I'll talk about why I really like this one so
Okay.
much and why. I'll just go ahead and introduce it. Amari and the Night Brothers
Okay.
by B.B. Austin.
Okay. All right.
Okay, there are 3 books already in this series.
Mm-hmm.
This is number 1.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember how I was introduced to this book. I think I was just sitting around one night, me, Googling and
Mm-hmm.
checking out things and trying to find out, because this one was written in 2021. We were
Okay.
still like wrapping up that pandemic thing, was still in the middle of it. Not wrapping up, we were still
Yeah, in
in
the
it.
middle of it. Yeah.
And I just came across this one and I said, gosh, a good middle school read. But you know what was more intriguing to me?
What?
To see this little black girl, this little African American girl, beautifully,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Illustrated.
illustrated on the cover of a page for middle grades.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that often for middle
Mm-hmm.
grade reads.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I saw who, wrote blurbs about it.
Mm-hmm.
Angie Thomas and Nick Stone, 2 amazing African American authors, young adult authors, to say this about Amari and the Night Brothers just kind of spoke to me. But
Mm-hmm.
it was the cover that did it for me.
Wow.
But when I read it, what I loved the most, a little black girl from the ghetto, or from what we would call from the projects,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, going into a fantasy world, a magical world, in pursuit, a fantasy world, in pursuit to find her brother,
Okay.
her older brother. It's just her and her mom in the projects. Her mom's struggling. She's working day in, day out.
Yeah.
Amari's, having these issues at school. And, you know, all of a sudden she's, found to have these, powers.
Right.
And it just takes you on this journey of her trying to find her brother. And what I love the most is the way that the author, B.B. Austin, kind of weaves together those elements of fantasy and mystery.
Oh.
Like in
Yes.
pursuit to find her
Yeah.
brother, where she has to join this thing called like the SIA instead of like the FBI. It's like the Supernatural Investigation Agency. And it just kind of follows her. And she meets all of these other young people that have these different, gifts, so to
Yeah.
speak. And she's just woven into all of these cast of characters in a pursuit to find her brother, where there's like a mystery behind it.
Okay.
There's a reason why we can't find him and what's going on behind the scenes. And it's just phenomenal.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. And fantasy is, what we pretty much grew up on as kids.
Right.
When you think about Snow White, when you think
Right.
about all of these things, I mean, this one is written for the culture.
Okay. Okay.
And it brings so much meaning to Amari's journey as a
Right.
young black African American girl trying to navigate her way in the projects, in the school system,
Okay.
and really trying to, support her mom on one end, who feels she's lost a son,
Mm-hmm.
and then still have, be in pursuit of where her brother is because she knows that he's not dead.
Got it.
Okay, so this one, well written, well done, middle grades. If anybody has a middle schooler and they love fantasy, I'm sure that they would really enjoy reading more about Amari.
Okay.
So yeah, I could pick this one up any day and just go through it probably now in a day
Mm-hmm.
and just say, wow, this is some good stuff.
Wow. Okay, so this one, it's kind of, it's a different choice in terms of books that we read again, because
Okay.
this is a book that I read very deep into and didn't quite finish. And so I don't know if this should be on a video called Books I Need to Finish or Books I Should Read Again. I've read a lot of it. So I feel like, I need to go back to the beginning. So I feel like I would be reading it again.
Okay.
It's called Underground Airlines. And I
Okay.
hope you can see that.
Yeah, I remember
Underground Airlines
Yeah.
by Ben, let me see if I can get a name, H. Winters. And
Wow.
so this book is basically based in modern day times,
Yeah.
but with the added, how can I say, twist that
Yeah.
the Civil War never happened. And so there are still people in slavery in 4 states called the Hard Four. And this is about a black man who is working with the government to try and help capture people who have escaped from one of the Hard Four.
Okay.
And he's doing it basically to maintain his freedom. And so he feels like he's a good person doing a bad job. You know what I'm saying? Like a job that's not good.
Yeah.
But some things are happening that's pricking his consciousness. And he's starting to see things. He's being exposed to some things that aren't what they were presented to be.
Gotcha.
And so this last paragraph really, really, really hits it for me and says why I need to read this again and complete it this time.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
Underground Airlines is a groundbreaking novel, a wickedly imaginative thriller, and a story of an America that is more like our own than we may want to believe.
Wow.
Now, see that right there, goosebumps. They're
Yeah,
all over
for
my
real,
arms.
for real.
To say that what's in here is more like the America we live in than we might want to believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I read a lot of this book, almost finished it. And so that's why I say it's a reread for me, because I need to go back to the beginning and read all the way through and complete this journey. But this book, what I read of it, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just to think that you got a black man and he's just really conflicted, because he's trying to do what he needs to do to maintain
course,
his
yes,
own freedom.
yes.
But what he's doing is taking away other people's
Wow.
freedom. And it's just, man, it's just really, it's a really amazing just idea in
Man.
my mind.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
not called the Underground Railroad, but the Underground Airline. So to
airlines.
take that twist on it, just
Yeah.
really, 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 really different.
Yeah. It sounds like one. I think I've heard you talk about that a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah. As I
Yeah.
read it, I would
Yeah.
talk to you about what I was
Yeah.
reading, and
Yeah.
just I think it's just very an interesting perspective,
Yeah. It is.
and something because you know what? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Back in slavery times, you had people who worked for the owners who were who were black. They
Mm-hmm.
worked for they had certain positions,
Yep.
and they preserved their own safety and
Yep.
benefits.
Yep.
And I mean, this is that,
Yep.
but with a modern day twist.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, going to be an interesting read.
Wow. Wow. So my next one, this is what I say. Everybody by now, if they've been watching this channel, honey, knows when I say historical fiction,
Okay, yeah.
they know. But the
Okay.
thing about it is, okay, which one is it? Because there's so many.
I think I know.
The,
I'm guessing in my mind, but
and
we're
they've
gonna see.
all been absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And when I say amazing, heartbreaking.
Right. Made you cry.
Heartbreakingly amazing. But there's one that just, and I'm telling you, for me, it's not hard to pick, but it's hard to choose because they've all had such an impact. But this one made an indelible impact. I think because I didn't know much about this part of history, and when I read it and how, y'all, it's Kristen Hanna,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yeah, I knew that one.
But the book,
Which one?
The Four Winds.
I thought it would be that one.
You thought so?
Yeah, I did. I thought it would be that one.
The Four Winds.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it would be that one.
Yeah, this one, it hits, like you said, it hits different.
Yeah.
So this one is that like emotional saga set against a backdrop of the Dust Bowl during the Great Depression, right? And so the novel follows Elsa. I remember Frankie from The Women. I can barely remember the names from the Nightingales, but once I pick it up,
Right.
but I'll never forget Elsa.
Wow.
Elsa Martinelli, who is this woman caught in like this seemingly endless struggle for survival during this time. And Paul, her journey, like to protect her family, her babies. She's got a boy and a girl, her children, in this unforgiving, dust-filled world. I had no idea.
Wow.
I had no. You hear about the Dust Bowl, you get the dates, you get the Great Depression dates, but you don't dig. That's one thing about yeah. And I'm not gonna say I don't think I remember a teacher digging that deep into the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression for me.
Okay.
I know teachers now, they dig.
Right.
And the kids get a lot. But just from the perspective of what Kristen Hanna did in her research for this one, man, this was something.
Wow.
So like this narrative, like it explores like the themes of love, the themes of hardship, sacrifice of these mothers during this time, and the power of resilience.
Wow.
And I mean, it spoke to me in ways unimaginable.
Wow.
Paul.
Seems to me that Kristen Hanna writes about the power of women.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. Because her main characters are always women. There are a few that are men, but somehow it comes back to the woman.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
But she does it so well, and it's got to be something that's. And I need to read more up on her as a woman.
Okay.
And as an author, I need to read more about her story.
Okay.
And I hope, I don't know if she's going to ever hear this, but who is she as a woman and why has she chosen to write this way?
Right.
I mean, I would love to just sit down and interview her.
Right.
So if you're out there, Kristen Hanna, this is Lesley of Turning Pages with Paul and Lesley. I would absolutely love to interview you to get your story and what drove you to write this way. But this, her storytelling is like deeply evocative. It always paints a vivid picture of the harsh realities of life, but this one during the Dust Bowl, like I said, I had no idea. And Elsa's character, along with her daughters, her daughter, because she has a son and a daughter, it's very relatable and could be relatable to many mothers and daughters, the mother-daughter relationship, and how it inspires, the daughter at the end of this book to just dream the impossible dream.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
That's so cool.
It's heavy. This is a heavy one.
Yeah.
It's always going to end on a heart-wrenching note.
Right.
But at the end of it all, it's so filled with hope, so filled with that quiet strength of women who just fought against, the odds.
Right. Right.
And this one I would read over and over again. The history is there. The details are specific. She doesn't miss a beat on that end. But the heart piece, 110%. This is a 10. This is a 10 out of 5. This is a 10.
Wow.
I do 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
this is a straight up 6+, 10, whatever you want to call it.
Amazing.
Unforgettable book, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna.
I had a feeling it would be, I didn't know the name of the book.
Man, I'm tearing up.
I had the feeling that it would be the Black and Gold book.
Yeah.
I did.
I'm telling you, you got to read a Kristen Hanna book, Paul.
Yeah, and listen, y'all, this is not for likes and this is not for any of that, but women, you guys are amazing.
We are amazing.
Women are absolutely amazing. I watched my mom be one of the strongest people ever as a kid growing up.
I'm telling you.
I see my wife being one of the strongest
my
people
grandmother,
ever.
my mother.
Yeah, so women.
My aunts, yes.
My hat. Look at it. It's off to all of you because you are absolutely amazing. And I'm glad that Kristen Hanna writes about that.
Thank you, Kristen Hanna.
That perspective needs to be seen more often.
And the thing about Kristen Hanna, and I'll stop. I can't stop. It kind of goes beyond race.
Right.
Because I'm proud to be an African American woman, but this is just it's about women.
It's about being a woman.
It's just about being a woman, and it's just. She captures the essence and the heart of a woman.
And who can do that better than a woman?
I don't think anybody could.
Yeah, other than God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my book, I'm just going to combine these two, okay? Because these two books help me as a person. That's why these books are very important to me and why I want to read both of them again, because there are some principles that I learned in this book that I need to begin reapplying, that I need to start utilizing in my life again. Because as life around us gets more and more and more complicated, and as life we have to find a way to protect our mental and our emotional and our physical and our spiritual person. We have to be protective of that. And so the first book is called Simple Life.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I'm trying to get
I could have chosen. I could have chosen that one too, Paul.
Okay. Yeah. I had to. Let me see if I can, because I want you to see that simple. There it is. Got it.
One of my favorites.
Rainer and Rainer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This book is just all about making smart decisions.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And as you can see, I had my underline. I worked in this book. And I need to go back to it because this book is really about how to simplify life.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things that this book points out is that a lot of us have so much on our plate.
Yeah.
And that's why we feel stressed.
Yeah.
That's why we feel like we don't get enough rest, and and what they say is everything that we have on our plate is not bad.
Right.
It's easy to figure out how to get rid of the negative stuff. But what do you do when you've gotten rid of all the negative stuff and everything's good, but it's still too much?
Exactly.
Now you got to start deciding what's nice and what's necessary. And you have to cut back on some of the nice.
Love it.
And hone in on the necessary. And that will help us to bring our stress levels down, and then emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally, all those ways will be better. The other book I cannot find, and I know we have a copy of it. It's called Boundaries.
Oh, by Townsend.
Boundaries. When to say yes, when to say no, to take control of your life.
Yeah.
That pairs with Simple Life, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It pairs with that because us having the ability to say, no, I don't want to obligate myself to that.
Right.
I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to be on that committee. I don't want to attend that party. We have to be able to set boundaries in our relationships, because sometimes we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We
True.
don't want them to
True.
feel like we're being standoffish or funny.
True.
But we say yes at our own expense.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
even want to be there. We're
Wow.
tired. We're not feeling it. And so we're piling this extra stuff on our plate that really doesn't need to be there. And
Right.
I love that it says when to say no, to take control of your life. So
That's
taking that
good.
control back. You know, I'm the type of person, you know, I will say, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, and I'm not feeling it sometimes. And I'm getting to a place at my current age where I'm starting to say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I'm like,
You know, I learned that.
you did. But that was something I still struggled with.
Yeah.
And so Simple Life and Boundaries are two books that I want to read again.
Yeah, I think those are great books.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think over time I have forgotten some of those principles that really helped me. And I need to read these again so that I can start re-implementing these principles in my life.
Yeah.
And because the brother needs his peace.
I'm telling you.
I mean, so
telling
those are I just combine those into one.
Yeah.
Simple Life and Boundaries. Those are the two books that I need to read again so I can get that back into my life.
Now, who is Simple Life by?
Simple Life is by Rainer and Rainer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, two
That's
brothers.
Right. Yeah,
I think
Thomas.
one of them
One is
named
Thomas. Yeah.
Thomas Rainer.
Man, that's a good
and,
book.
let me
That's
see.
a good book.
And Art Rainer.
Okay. Okay.
Tom Rainer. THOMS Rainer and
Oh,
Art
okay.
Rainer.
Okay. Okay.
Great book.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you have? Your final book?
Wow. What can I say about my final book? Changed my life.
You sound like Stan.
Sound like Stan from Martin.
Changed
my life. I'm telling you this thing. I mean, I've had this book on the shelf, Paul, for, gosh, when did The Love Dare come out?
Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Was that early 2000s? Mid 2000s?
Maybe early to mid, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay,
yeah.
this book, maybe the year after,
Wow.
has been, well, let's not say that old. Let me see. Let me just,
Yeah, look
I'm
at
just
it.
going
Look
to
it
tell
up.
you
Look it
because
up.
I might be going way, way, way back. 2015.
Okay.
I'm
All
right.
Well,
2015. And I think you got it for me because I think at the time you might have still been working at the
Okay.
bookstore. I can't
Okay.
remember. And it sat on the shelf
Okay.
until 2024.
Okay.
In 2024, the new year hit,
All right.
and I was determined that I needed to. God just drew me to the book. How about that? How
All
about
right.
we say that?
We can go with
Okay.
that. Absolutely.
I pulled it off the shelf January 1,
Okay.
day 1,
Okay.
and I was determined to read it through,
Okay.
as far as I needed to. But I was going to take a slow walk
Okay.
through this book because
Okay.
I knew this book was not just a book.
Okay.
So this is Fervent by Priscilla Shirer.
Yeah.
Okay. And this one on the front says a woman's battle plan for serious, specific, and strategic prayer.
Wow.
So we know Priscilla Shirer to be the author, but most of all, a dynamic speaker.
Dynamics.
Dynamic biblical speaker, right?
Right, right.
And in this book, she's offering like the readers this battle plan of a practical and personal approach to deepening your prayer life.
Wow.
Okay, so when I say that, that's exactly what this is, and how it opens you up
Yeah.
to really take. We have somebody we know, a good friend, that says, "Look at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror." That's exactly what this does through a very gentle, sweet spirit. And through each chapter, she kind of highlights these specific areas where we as women, through the book, is needed. and she has us to kind of face the spiritual attacks,
Okay.
such as identity, relationships, emotions, and how we should combat these challenges, like through prayer. And she says there is such a thing as like spiritual warfare, but we have prayer. And I have to appreciate her for writing this, because she takes and combines like a spiritual reflection with biblical truths, but then she doesn't stop there.
Okay.
Actionable strategies
Wow.
to
Now
help
that's
the
good.
reader connect with
That's
their
good.
spiritual lives in like a more profound way.
That's good.
And that is what really helped me. So when I say everything is like marked, I don't know if you can see my marks
A little bit.
and my
Yeah,
highlights.
you can see your highlights.
I mean, I've got I don't think I have ever, not even in school, written more notes and done more tabs in a book as I have with this one. And this one is short, and that's why I didn't like want to go fast.
Right.
I wanted to go slow. Now, in the back of this book, and I have so many pages already used, but I kept one on purpose. Here, every day after you read, you do a prayer. You write a prayer. And since January 1 of 2024, and I always had journals. I always wrote in my journals. But since 2024 of January 1, I've written a daily prayer. And when I ran out of these pages, because I didn't want to use my last ones, I just took out some index cards and
Right, and
cardstock,
just wrote 'em in,
and I
yeah.
just wrote them, and I placed them in my prayer closet.
Wow.
But this book changed my life for real.
Wow.
Her words to make you feel like you're right there with her, like a sister girl. Her words of encouragement, but her challenges to rise up out of the life that's been normal, to rise and go higher, according to like the word of God, and to beat life's obstacles in the head, because they all start, Paul, with every chapter is a strategy. For example, this says strategy for your family, fortifying the lives of those you love. They all open with, if I were your enemy.
Okay.
If I were your enemy, I'd seek to disintegrate your family and destroy every member of it.
Wow.
I mean, that's how every chapter starts. If I were
Amazing
your
stuff.
enemy. And so how do you combat that? How do you combat that enemy? Through prayer. And so, yeah, and in the back it says, you have an enemy. Very cleanly spoken. Yeah, this was a game changer and a life changer. And I'll never be the same. And I go back to this as often as I can.
Wow.
That's why this one had to be in the top 3 books I would read again.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. It's really cool that both of us had books that personally
Yeah.
helped us as a person. I think that's great. Some books entertain, some books move you.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But then some books just flat out bless you.
Yeah, and challenge you.
Yeah, so yeah. So my final book, everybody.
Okay.
It is not like that book that she just told us about. But now if you've been watching this channel, I'm going to pull a Lesley here. If you've been watching this channel and you've been hanging out with us and turning pages, you know what my favorite mystery thriller is. You're probably saying it right now, aren't you? You know what it is. It is Lies. This is absolutely, positively my favorite mystery thriller book.
Yes,
Ever.
we know.
What If Your Whole Life Was Based on Lies by T.M. Logan. I don't. What can I say about this book that I haven't already said? What if you have the perfect life, the perfect wife, and the perfect child, and then, in one shattering moment, you discover nothing is as it seems? So, I mean, just to think that a man has built a life for himself with his wife and his child, only to find out it was all a lie.
A lie.
And when it starts falling apart, and the things that he goes through as it falls apart. And when I say falls apart, I mean this man's life falls apart.
Completely apart.
And to see him dealing with that every day, something new, something different, the fallout of all of the lies that he had believed for so long and then eventually found out the truth. Man, y'all.
Okay.
And the ending, and y'all know how I am about endings. The ending of this one right here. Oh my goodness gracious. And I never say goodness gracious live. Online before. But this book, man, wow. First of all, let me say this. It's gripping the whole time. It never lets you go. Okay? It grabs you, right? And it never loosens the grip. Through the whole book.
Wow.
You never stop trying to figure out in your mind, okay, who did it? How did they do it? When did it the whole book from beginning to end.
That's good.
And when you get to the end and you see the ending, it is just never in a million years did I imagine that the person responsible for this man's spiral was the person who ended up being responsible.
Oh my goodness.
When I say good book, y'all,
must read.
When I say a good book, and I paid $6.98 for this book.
Probably less than that. If it was
probably
extra,
less for you know where we got it from.
Yeah.
From your favorite place that no longer exists.
Books A Million?
No, the Book Warehouse, I think it is. Or the
Was
book
it
outlet.
the Book Warehouse?
Book Warehouse.
I could have sworn we got that one from Books A Million before it closed down in Savannah.
No, this one came from that place.
Wow.
And yeah, here it is, y'all.
Wow.
Lies by T.M. Logan, y'all. Fantastic mystery thriller book. Best one on the shelf. And it got to be a bad book to dethrone that one right there. But right now, it's number one.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, those are our books, everybody.
Those are the ones
that we would pick up and read it. Pick it up, read it again.
And so what pages are you turning today?
Yes, tell us. We'd love to know.
But also, let's add to that, honey.
What's that?
Which books would you read again?
Oh, yeah. Which books would you pick up and read again? No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Just look on your shelf and say, oh, that's it.
Yeah. You don't have to give us 3. You can give us 1
no,
if you
just give us 1.
If you want to give us 3, that's fine.
Hey, if you want to give us 10, list them.
Yeah, we'd be glad to see it. Because we'll probably pick them up for the first time.
I'm telling you, and it'll be one we can't put down.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for watching today.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you for just being a part of this community. This community would be nothing without you all. We appreciate your comments, your feedback, your suggestions, your recommendations. We just appreciate it all. We thank you for subscribing. If you've been watching us and you have not subscribed yet, we're asking you, please subscribe to the channel. It will help the channel greatly. And please hit the like button today if you got value from today's video.
Yeah. And so that's it, everybody. I'm not going to add anything to what Lesley said because I think she's done an excellent job hosting this particular.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. You've done a wonderful job as our host. Don't you guys think she's done a wonderful job as our host?
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, she's done a lovely job. Lovely job. So we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Everybody, y'all know what we ask y'all to do every week before we get up out of here. Oh, yeah, there'll be a video.
Somewhere
Up here or down. In the middle or down. We're going to have another video for you to click on and watch. But you know what you need to do, right? You need to keep turning
those pages.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye, everybody.